Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to start trying to use FreeCAD for my CAD cam. Here I've got version 1.0.2. We have our part designer and we also have our CAD section. That's the only two areas I will probably be using. But you see you have all your different operations, CAD and the cam side, and our part designer we have all of our design tools. We have a tasks tab and a model tab. I'm going to be separating some of this. I'm going to be rearranging some of these tools to make them a little easier for me to use and to give me just a little bit more work area. So I'm going to reconfigure my layout just a little bit. I'm going to right click on my bar up here and I'm just going to remove some of these. I don't need the file. You can always bring them back if you want, but you got to create a new document, open document, save document. You can use all of these same tools by hitting the file menu. And as you can see, we have our Control S for save. So we've got our hotkeys that we can use as well. So I don't need a lot of these. I'm just going to go ahead and remove a lot of them. Like I said, they're all just a right click away if you ever want to bring them back anyway. So File, Edit, Structure, Help. I know I want rid of all of those. View. I don't need the View tab. So that reduces the work area a pretty good bit. Another thing I have to do is come over here and grab these toolbar sections and move them around a little bit, make them even easier to use. First thing when we're starting a document in FreeCAD, we have to make us a body and then a sketch. So I want those up first. After we finish making our body and sketch, then we add our padding to extrude that sketch out into a 3D space. So that'll be next. The next tools that I might use are the chamfer tools. I'll put that right there so it's next, and every once in a while I might use the array tools, so I'll have that one last. There, I like that a lot better. Now as far as our tasks tab, I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to dock that over on the right hand side. Now I'll be able to see the model tree and the tasks at the same time. I'm going to click tools. I'm going to go to add-on manager and hit OK. We're going to filter by preference packs. I'm going to choose this open theme. I'm going to go ahead and install that. You can close that. I'll edit my preferences, and you can see under the general tab under our theme, FreeCAD dark. I'll click that and I'm going to go to open dark. As the theme I just installed was the open dark and the open light. I'm going to hit OK. With that one loaded, I have an extra option over here. This extra option will allow me to toggle transparent mode. If I click that, I'll just toggle transparent mode under my model menu. One thing I do like about FreeCAD is its customization options and its versatility. We go to our add-on manager, you'll see there's a lot of add-ons in here that you can go through. If I search for guitar, you can see we have a parametric guitar design workbench. If I select that and install it, you can see the install was successful. A lot of these add-ons you will have to restart the program after you install a pack, so we'll go ahead and restart now. You can see I am in Linux Mint right now. In my drop down box you'll now see we have a guitar work area. If I select that, it brings us some new tools up here. If I click on this first option, we can pick a few different types of guitars. Now with that guitar imported, we can go through here and make any kind of changes or modifications. And click on the fretboard, get rid of the fretboard, click on the neck, get rid of the neck. We can export that as an STL and send this straight out to the CNC. Anyway, that's just one of the workbenches that can be installed through the add-on manager. Go back into our add-on manager, box. Yeah, there's a box maker in here that I want to get. I'm still in preference packs. Go to any box creator, install. Oh yes, I want to add a button for the macro. Oh, it's already done. You see it's put me a new button over here for my box creator. You'll be able to scroll through here and find a bunch of different packs that you can install. Kind of like gadgets in Vectric VCarve. There's stuff for bolt, hardware, extrusions, all kinds of different gadgets you can install. They're just called add-ons in FreeCAD. I'm going to create a solid body real quick. First thing in FreeCAD, when you're creating your file, the first thing you want to do is click on this box right here to create a body. On that body, you want to create a vector. So let's start our sketch drawings. Create a sketch. It's going to ask you what plane you want that sketch on. I want the XY plane. So I'm going to come over here and just going to click the XY plane. You can zoom out on that plane and start selecting your vector editing tools. Let's see, I'm going to grab a rectangle, place it on the 0, 0, and you can type in your values or just click and set it. I'm just going to click right there. You see I still got my rectangle tool active. If I right click, that's going to deactivate that tool and I'll be back into my select tool. I can click on my dimensions box up here and click an edge, pull that and set a defined dimension. See, I just pulled this out to 96.32 millimeters. So if I wanted to, I could just change that to 74. And we could do the same thing over here. Pull it out, set that to 57. I right click to deselect that tool. And you can see that my box is all green now. That means that this box is completely constrained. Have all my constraints set. Now I can delete one of those constraints if I wanted to. Undo that. Got that value constrained. Let me pull this value back up. Constrain that to 57, I said. Deselect the dimensions tool. I forgot the purpose for creating this body already. I forgot what I was getting ready to do. I want to pad that out. I can close this task and we can use our padding tool to extrude that. Now I can click a surface of this body, draw me a new sketch, and I could put a circle in here. I can hit this center button, drag it around to where I want, or if I hit the L key on the keyboard, define the dimensions from this edge, 20 millimeters from that edge. If I click that again and I hit the I on the keyboard, we can set our dimensions from the bottom. We'll go with 28 and a half millimeters. Make that 30 millimeters. Now you see that circle is now green. It's completely constrained. We're going to close out of our sketch tool. We're going to select this vector and we could add a padding to raise that higher, or we could choose a pocket to make it lower. One other thing I was going to do. Also in the preferences tab, we'll look at our workbenches. Click on available workbenches and this will show everything that was in the drop down box over here. So let's just say surfaces. I don't plan on using that. Maybe I will do spreadsheet, robots, reverse engineering, points, OpenSCAD, material, assembly, maybe, test framework, section, FEM, that, draft, I won't use that. Tech drawing, no. I'm not even sure what some of these are, assembly and BIM. I need my CAD back for sure, or my CAM. BIM, let's get rid of BIM for now. I'm gonna hit apply, okay. You see we have a much shorter list of workbenches for us to choose from. And we can also turn that into a tabbed arrangement. Down here where we see combo box, just click tab bar, apply and OK. And this will require a restart. And you see all of our workbenches are laid out in tabs now. It pushes our tools off to the edge a little bit. So I'm not the biggest fan of this setup, but you could always grab these tabs and bring them up here. You can always grab your tabs and bring them up here to the top row. Just more options that you have to play with. Under the Tools menu, we can go to Customize. Under the Customize section, we will see a category, and we want to go to Part Design. In Part Design, we want to look for our padding tool. There's the pad tool. The pad tool here is the same as extrude in Fusion 360. That's what padding means too. Extrude your part. I'm going to add a new shortcut right here. Now you can see right here when I type E, it tells us we do have a conflict, but this is in the sketcher mode, so this will not affect anything in the part design mode, only the sketcher mode. So we are safe to go ahead and set E for extrude here. So after we place our E for the shortcut, we can just hit assign. You can see the shortcut has now been set. So if I close, I create a new body, and I create a new sketch. I select my XY plane, and I draw me a box up here, put me another box in the middle. I'm not going to worry about any constraints or anything this time. We'll just close that out. That gives us a little vector here. I want to select these 4 vectors holding my control key, and I'm going to press the E key on my keyboard. You see that gives us an extrude off that vector I selected. Now if I unhide my sketch and select those vectors, hit E, that gives us another extrude. Now I could do 5 millimeters on this one, and you can see that's 2 different extrude operations. Of course, you can just go right here and click E, but now you see when I hover over the pad tool, we have a little E right there representing that's our new shortcut. None of these have a assigned shortcut. You could go ahead and use the customize tool to make a shortcut for all of these if you wanted. But I'm so used to hitting E for extrude in Fusion 360, I went ahead and changed that out, and I went ahead and set E for a padding tool in FreeCAD. If we go into our CAM operations, we would have to start a new job, hit OK. This is creating our job, hit OK again. I don't have a template to go from, so you can see it put a bounding box around our actual model. I'll just make that 0 millimeters all the way around our model. You could go to Edit Preferences, and under CAM, we have a Job Preferences button. In Setup, you can have this check your stock box here, and we can go ahead and set that to open up with the 0 millimeter automatically. And it will do that every time you go into your CAM operation. Let's click on our CAM button, and let's look at our Tool Library Editor. Toolbit Working Directory not set up yet. We're going to go ahead and have FreeCAD create that. We'll select that folder, click yes, and click yes. And here's some tools we can start playing with. You can go ahead and create more tools using these as a template. We'll look at editing tools later on. I'm going to go ahead and select a 5 millimeter end mill. Our diameter just happens to be 6 millimeter. Under the Setup tab, I also want to come up here and select this corner. I want to zero my bit to the surface of the material. I'll hit OK. I'm going to select my first surface, and we're going to perform a pocketing toolpath. Our step over, I'm going to reduce that to 40. I'm going to reduce that to 40% step over. I'm going to choose offset, climb cut, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. Didn't have enough room to get around this piece right here, I guess. We're going to come up here and click on our CAM simulator, not the new CAM simulator, because I don't really like it that much. You can see how big the bed is. That's why it didn't want to come up the edges here. We'll fix that. I'm going to reduce the speed on this, and we're going to play that toolpath. Alright, I'm going to generate a toolpath real fast. I'm going to start off in our part designer. I'm going to create a new file, create a new body, and we'll create a new sketch. Put it on the XY plane. And for a 6-inch side, it's going to be 152 millimeters, 3.5-inch hole in the middle. It'll be 89 millimeters. So let's grab us a circle tool. We're going to make it 88.9 millimeters. Right click to deselect our circle tool. With the center of our circle selected, I'm going to hit the L to constrain it by the left hand side here. And we're going to make that 62 millimeters. Make sure the center is selected. I'm going to hit the I key to constrain it to the bottom edge. And that's going to be 76.2. I'll add one more rectangle over here to the edge. Let's give that some dimensions. 23 millimeters sounds good. 82 millimeters there sounds good. I'm going to select these 4 edges. I'm going to hit E on my keyboard to extrude that. We're going to make this 50 millimeters and we're going to reverse it. There. You can see our sketches are still on top. 5. I'm going to make this 12 millimeters deep. Hit this circle. I'm going to use a pocket tool or make that 12 millimeters deep. I'm going to use this. We'll use our pocket tool. Let's start with 15 millimeters. Go to 20. I'll double click on my pocket over here and increase that to 20. Let's do 25. There. Oh, that's good. Just for a demonstration anyway. With this piece modeled up, I'm just going to a cam section. Start me a new job. I'm going to hit OK. I don't have a template to work off of. So we're going to hit OK again. With our job set up, we're going to hit OK. We're going to select this face and do a pocket toolpath. Our step over, we're going to reduce that to 50% and do an offset climb cut. We're going to hit OK and we'll see our toolpath here. See, it's going to make 3 passes, 2 deep passes and a shallow pass. Let's go over to our cam simulator. Slow our speed down so we can see what's going on. Okay, that toolpath is done. I'm going to select this next one. I'm going to select this next face. We're going to do another pocket. We're going to be using the same tool. I'm going to do a 60% step over this time using an offset path. And we'll watch this play out as well. Reduce the speed just a bit. Oh yeah, that's right. I had both of them selected. It's going to do both the paths again. You can see it was still under the cutting edge of this tool here. So one way you can make sure that you're not going too deep to where you're going to crash your collet nut into your part is just by dragging that up and watching it play through. But anyway, there's our part created, and then we would hit this button right here to, not the button is it? We'll hit OK here. And there's our little box set up. Your post processor will be set in the job setup. I have a Gerbil machine myself. Once you have your job selected, you can click this button to generate the G code. And there's the G code to mill out this job. Hit OK, and it will save to a certain location. Generally, you can just change this to whatever extension you need. For mine, you can give it a name, save it wherever you want to, and there's your G code for your job. I'll put that right there on the desktop. Tray, save, and you would take that to GSender, or you would take that to your control program. The G code is just plain text file, so you can just rename that NC file to a .G code file and use it in GSender. Anyway, there's an introduction to how you can use an open source system for your CNC. I have been playing with FreeCAD for a couple days. I haven't given it a fair shake in the past because it's not quite as good as Fusion 360, but it's still a pretty decent system. And I think it, especially if you're new, it's really worth looking into. It is a pretty powerful system. I didn't give FreeCAD a fair shake to begin with, but the more I'm starting to play with it, I do like it more and more as I go along. It's got a lot of tools that we can choose from. I'm not entirely sure if it can do multiple bit operations, say roughing passes and finishing passes. I still got to dive into that a little bit more and see if it can even handle that. If you're looking for a free alternative to some of these other CAD CAM programs, this is open sourced. All of your files will stay on your local computer. You do not need the internet to operate it. Maybe it would be a good option for you. All you can do is give it a try and see. Well, if you liked this intro to FreeCAD, stay tuned and we'll see what we get into in the next one. Thank you for watching. Y'all have a good day.